Welcome to the Medium in the Middle podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie, the medium in the middle. On this podcast, I share my journey as a developing psychic medium, as a Reiki master teacher, as an Akashic record practitioner, and anything else that's thrown my way. Join me every week. I release new episodes every Tuesday. Hello, Middlers! Welcome to episode 100! 100 episodes done up. I gotta stop. Today is a big day. This is an important episode for me. It is a big milestone in the podcasting world. So many things happening. I hit 100,000 downloads. We are at episode 100. In August, I hit 2 years of podcasting. So this has been an exciting journey. So thank you for being here with me. Thank you for listening. If you've been here since the start 2 years ago, or if you are a new middler, welcome. So I'm kind of sitting here in oh my gosh, 100 episodes. It feels like it's flown by, but it absolutely has not. As I was setting up today, I was like, I've done this more than 100 times, but 100 times. And it's just so surreal that I've been podcasting for 2 years, 100 episodes. So this episode is going to be a very special episode. We have your questions I'm going to be answering. We have important announcements. We have giveaways. We have card pulls as usual. So where to begin? I think I want to start with the card pulls. So for episode 100, we're of course going back to the OG, the original, Colette Baron Reed Enchanted Map Deck. And I wanted to pull 2 cards this week, and these 2 literally jumped out. And again, I don't think I've pulled these cards before, but we'll see what the meanings are and see what the messages are for this week. As a reminder, I always ask when I'm shuffling, what do my listeners need to know? What is the message for this week? And I got this deck when I did my Reiki Master's course as a gift. So this deck is near and dear to my heart. So here we go, 2 card pull. The first card was card 41, Unexpected Visitors. I feel like dun dun dun. But it's probably something to do with spirit. If you expect the unexpected, you'll be prepared for miracles. Detours, surprises, and paradigm shifts. Expect the unexpected. No matter how detailed your plans are and how clear you believe the road ahead to be, there are times when the best plans are unforeseen circumstances. At first, detours may seem inconvenient, but a surprise turn of events signal that the adventure of life is beginning to get interesting. No one can plan for synchronicity, for fate and destiny to meet, except spirit. Who knows what you can't comprehend for now? Life is full of surprises, so stay on your toes and enjoy this exciting new adventure you weren't expecting. There is a plan for your life that may not match up with your agenda. Ooh, interesting. Card 41, Unexpected Visitors. Okay, so that card was followed up by card number 29, Coming to Life. Something beautiful is being born in your life. Guys, what's going on here? Something new. When you look at your life, you can see how you've grown and evolved over time. Perhaps you've shed skins and identities and created new ones, or at the very least, matured in your ideas about yourself and the world you inhabit. You know things take time, and Spirit's timetable is rarely in sync with your own. Ooh, I have pulled this one before. I remember this description. This card indicates that a long-held dream is beginning to show signs of life. You must not try to coax it along or shape it according to your desires. Spirit knows the best form for the manifestation of this dream, and your life can become even better than you could possibly imagine. Now is the time for reverence and awe. Allow the contours of your path to be carved by the hands of the divine. All you have to do is show up. Ooh, I like the message this week. Seems like we have some unexpected things coming into our lives, Middlers. Some new welcomed energy after the discussion with Court last week. I feel like we're all needing that little something new, something sparkly. So before we get into it, I do want to say thank you. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for, allowing me to be in your ears for the past 100 episodes. This feels wild. There's so much happening in fall, and just the past few months have been, challenging, but a lot of things happening and big things. And it's just really, I love when I get an opportunity to reflect, and episode 100 is a big reflection time for me. So I posted on Instagram, what are your questions? Ask me anything. Mediumship, Reiki, Akashic Records, Psych K, podcasting, Archie, what do you want to know? And you submitted your questions, and I really, really like the mixed bag of questions we got. So I'm excited to answer the questions from the listeners. If you aren't already following me on Instagram, go follow me over there at Medium in the Middle. I connect with my audience so much there. I love connecting with you. And that's where I post a lot of question box. You can ask me questions in the DMs. And that's where I also post the cards that I pull every week in the episodes. So if you do want to see them, you can check me out. The link will be down in the show notes, also on Facebook. I want to just jump right into the questions, and I'll maybe get sentimental about 100 episodes as we go through. So these are in no particular order, but I'm going to jump right into it with a spirit question. I like this question because I feel like this will apply to a lot of people. So the person asks, I've never had an experience with spirit unless I'm half asleep dreaming or I wake up to it in the middle of the night. Is there a reason that I'm approached by spirit solely at night or in my dreams? Okay, so this is a great question, and the reason is because when you're nearly asleep or sleeping, your subconscious mind has almost like room to play. So all of the rules that we have for our lives, all of the things that we think are possible, all of the what ifs, how abouts kind of melt away. So it's very, very common for when you're in that in-between of being awake and being asleep for spirit to just slip right in with a message, because it's like your mind is now allowing those things to come through. So it's very, very common for spirit communication to start here because that's how your body is the most susceptible to it. So of course you can set boundaries if you don't want it. If you do want it, it's great. But it's really, really interesting because literally our guard is down. If you think about how you are right when you fall asleep, this is also why you can really easily read energy of someone sleeping, because they have no guards up, right? They're not awake, they're not alert, they're not ready to go, they're not aware, and it works the other way as well. So spirit knows they can sneak in at these times, and that's why they do. So next question is a Reiki question. Love Reiki questions. So this question asks, did you feel the energy in your hands right away after you got attuned? If yes, how did it feel? Ooh, okay. So at first when I read this question, I thought you were asking about my students, and I was going to say everyone's different, but it says me specifically. I'm trying to remember, and I want to say no, I didn't feel anything. So I always tell my students that I didn't feel anything for my attunements, so I don't expect them to feel anything for their attunements. A lot of them do experience a lot of different things: warmth, tingling, emotion, different things opening up, colors, but I got nothing. So I do remember when I first started practicing Reiki, I didn't feel anything, and it took me a while. So I just kind of did what I was told until eventually it started to feel something. But it took a while, and it started with warmth. So things started to get really, really hot or tingly. That was my first sensations that I remember, but I don't remember them being immediate. I do remember I was like practicing and I was just like, I don't know if this is working, but I'm doing what they told me and I'm just going to keep doing it. Okay, so this is a good question. It asks, what has been my favorite part of my journey so far? Ooh, my favorite part of my journey so far. Oh, this is hard. Like my personal growth is insane. My confidence has drastically changed. But my favorite part of the journey has probably been the community of people and the listeners. And this isn't to get like cheesy, like my favorite part of the journey is you guys. But as I record these episodes, for a long time, I've been sitting in my bedroom. I've always been in a bedroom, whether it's in a basement, whether it's in a house, wherever I am. But I'm always sitting in a bedroom and I have things around me to make things not echo, and I'm just kind of talking into this microphone. So it feels like you're not hitting a lot of people, but the messages that I receive have been life-changing, you could say. Like it really hits me when you guys DM me or email me or share stories with me or connect with me or tell me about how this podcast has helped you. So I think that's been my favorite part, like aside from my personal growth and expansion and all the learnings and lessons that I've had, because yeah, it's just been incredible. Okay, so kind of on that reflection note, someone asks, what story still gives you shivers to this day? And this is an easy one. Episode 9, Josh. If you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to it. But it still, like, even right now, saying the word Josh gives me shivers. It was a massive, massive, massive experience. The story was incredible. It was like a huge aha and awakening for me, for everyone involved in that story. And the Josh story is the one that I tell whenever I do any speaking on live events. If anyone asks me for the craziest story, if I'm ever just like telling stories, I tell Josh, because that's what really made me know that mediumship is real, spirit is real, this stuff works, this changes lives, this is a big frickin' deal. And if you haven't listened to that episode, long story short, or if you don't remember episode 9 because we're at episode 100, Josh was the one where I was driving home on the highway and I got a bunch of information, pulled over on the highway, messaged my friend, she didn't message me back, got back on the highway, got home, and it was all for kind of her stepdad, all this information about his son that had passed away. And long story short, for 20 years, he thought his son killed himself. He thought his son was kind of recklessly driving on purpose to commit suicide. And the first thing, it chokes me up every time. Breathe. Even when I present this story, I've done it so many times, I still always cry. And I'm not a crier. You guys know I'm not a crier, but Josh just like hits me. Anyways, the first thing he said in that reading was, and it wasn't even a reading, I was sitting at the top of my stairs talking to a stranger on the phone. He said, Dad, I didn't kill myself. Like, he kept repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. And at the end, he finally, well, actually, no, he hung up the phone and then called me back like 45 minutes later after he composed himself. And he said, Steph, for 20 years, I thought my son killed himself. I thought he did it on purpose. And the last thing that we spoke was us fighting. And it just like, I've never gotten over that story. I've never, not that nothing has ever trumped that story, but nothing has had the biggest impact on me and my development and someone else. And I'm sure like you could say every reading has had a huge impact on whoever the receiver is, like every time spirit comes through. But that one was, number one, was one of the first ones, episode 9. And it was also huge because this person was also a stranger to me. So I didn't know, I forget what fake name I gave him in the podcast episode, but I didn't know this man. So it was my best friend's stepdad, essentially. So I met him for 15 minutes once. And if you haven't listened to episode 9, or if you forget it, go back and listen to it. I might go back and listen to it because that one is just, home hitter for me. And I'm doing the Banff Wellness Retreats again. And I'm doing the Banff Wellness Retreats again this fall. And I present for both of the events. And I always, always, always tell that story. And it always, always, always chokes me up. So, yeah, that would be it. Hands down. Okay. What made me start practicing Reiki? So I know I told this story in the podcast, but I'll tell it again. I used to work at Lululemon. Lululemon sponsor me. And I was the community lead. So it was my job to do community events, make sure we're involved in the community, all that jazz. So as part of a community thing, I used to do markets on the weekends or on certain weekends. And there was this lady who sold malas. Shout out Purple Lotus Love. She is the best. And she would come in. Her name is Kim. I just gave you her ad on Instagram. She would come in on the weekends and we would briefly get to talk. And she was always amazing. And she was always giving me a bunch of discounts because she's like, Steph, you let me come into Lululemon. And I was like, this is my job. So she was just this super cool person. And for some reason we started talking and she just randomly told me she was a Reiki master. I don't even know how this came up in conversation. But then every weekend after that I would see her, I was like, what is Reiki? It was I was in a trance. I was like, I must know. You're a Reiki master. I want to be a Reiki master. And it was just that interest. And then eventually I was like, hey, there's Google. I don't need to wait for this woman to have time to tell me what Reiki is. I can go look it up myself. So I did that and I saw that there was a course and it was in Toronto, which was far away from my house at the time. And I was like, that doesn't seem right. And it was $400. And then I kept looking it up and then I found a course that was on a weekend that I randomly had off that was 20 minutes from where I lived. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I have nothing to lose. It was $140 or something. And I took Reiki and then I was just obsessed with it. And I joke in my Reiki level 1 students, I always say I didn't know what we were doing. We could have been making noodles. I had no idea. I just knew I had to be there. And it was energy and I fell in love and I just kept going and going and going with it. And now it's my passion, my love, my obsession, my job, my income, my everything. But it's just I'm literally obsessed with it. Okay, let's jump to an easy one. Can spirit put a song in your head? I've had one stuck in my head that won't go away. The answer to this is absolutely yes. Songs are an easy memory. They're an easy trigger. They're an easy way for spirit to kind of sneak in and give you that little message. And if you can't make it go away, there's probably a reason for that. There's probably something going on to make you remember or why they want you to remember. Ooh, okay, this is a good question. How do you make making money easy? So I feel I could answer this in so many ways, but how do you make making money easy? There's manifesting sides of it, but I would say stop thinking about the money. Don't think about the money and you'd be surprised how easy it is to make money. A few things that I'll kind of add to this, so don't make that a super short answer, but I forget where I heard this, but I heard it long, long ago, and it was kind of do what people ask you for. If someone's constantly asking you for something, do that, and then charge for it. But I feel we're always searching for something, and we don't know what we should do, and we don't know how we can make money. But it's just look at your messages from your friends, look at what people are DMing you, look at what people come to you for, and then start charging for that. That's literally how I've built my entire business. I was getting 8 to 10 DMs a day asking for Reiki trainings. And it took me 3 months to finally be I should offer online Reiki trainings. And the business side of me thought in my mind, I'm saying no to money every single day by having 8 to 10 people message me per day for Reiki trainings. That's insane. So also the universe will send you signs. There's another piece of this I want to talk about because I don't feel I've mastered making money easy. I feel I'm at level 1 where there's this certain threshold of money, but it can go so much bigger. there's so many limiting beliefs around money, how much you can make, how you can make it. And a few things that I always try to remember is like the Akashic Records say this. They're like, don't think about how you're going to make $1,000,000. Think about all the ways you could find $1,000,000. It's like you could find $1,000,000 on the floor. $1,000,000 could fall and hit you from the sky. You could look in an old purse and there could be $1,000,000. And like, I know that's not realistic, but when you start to literally see money and opportunity everywhere, it creates abundance, which makes money easy, right? Like, it's just like, you're like, yeah, this is easy now. And for me, there was like this certain number, and it was the beginning of this year, the beginning of 2021, and I wanted to hit this number, like this number monthly. And for like 3 months in a row, I came up short. So I still remember, like literally, because I'm a numbers person, exactly. The first month, I was $937 away from it. The next month, I was $647 away from it. The next month, I was $323 away from this goal. And I was like, something's wrong. Why in the hell can I not hit this number? I'm like dancing around it. I'm getting close, but not hitting it. And I had to do a lot of Psych K about deserving to make that amount of money. So I did a lot of Psych K on myself and just like figured out where my hole was, figured out where my gap was, figured out why I couldn't hit this amount monthly. And I tell my friends this to be like, I think they're called expanders. I'm like, guys, anything is possible. As soon as I got past that block, I now hit that number every single month without even thinking about it. It'll be like the 11th of the month, and I'll look at my month and I'm like, wow, I already hit that number. I still have 20 more days of working, like it's so interesting that your mind is so powerful. So to me, making money is easy. And I always say like crazy things to myself because I know whatever I say becomes a reality. So like my crazy goal right now that I'm working towards is I want 60K months. I want $60,000 months. I want to make $60,000 every single month. That's my goal. And I remember telling my friends that, and they were like, we're not even going to tell you you're crazy because we know you'll figure out a way for that to happen. And I know it will be easy. So it's really a mindset thing. It's a manifestation thing, but it's also like an opportunity thing. You have to see money everywhere. And once your mind's out of the way, it literally falls in your lap. But I know this is like a big thing. Maybe I'll do a meeting in the middle about money manifesting because I've really gotten good at this. Also, like the more money you spend, the more it comes back to you. Maybe this is October's meeting in the middle theme. Fam, is this what we're thinking? Because I feel like I could talk about manifesting money forever. I love manifesting money. It's almost like a game now. Okay, I'm going to save that for a meeting because that's my answer for you, but I feel like I could teach this. So I will do a meeting on this, probably October's. Thank you for your question. Okay, we're going to jump realms here. This is a good question. Top 3 things I wish I knew about podcasting before starting. This person said they're thinking about starting one and they love my podcast. Thank you and good luck on your podcast. Top 3 things I wish I knew about podcasting before I started. Ooh, okay. Start before you're ready. I know I've talked about this before, but it took me like 7 months to launch the podcast. I was like researching and like buying mics and then trying to get the perfect audio. And then I had to get a new computer and then I was recording my intro and then just start. No one listens to your episode 1 anyways. I mean, like now they do, but it doesn't matter. And just start. That would be like the thing I wish I would have told myself. Editing gets easier. I think you know that, but like in the moment, you're like, oh my God, is it going to take me 6 hours to edit for the rest of my life? And I think, what did I wish I knew? I think I wish I knew the impact it has. Okay, now that I'm 100 episodes in, I've probably received hundreds of messages and DMs and emails saying how my podcast has helped someone in their journey. They've resonated with it. They've connected with my story. It made them feel not alone. The impact of my podcast, I still don't think I fully understand it. But even if I would have known that my podcast could have helped one person, when you first launch a podcast, you're like, no one's going to listen to me. Who cares about my story? Who's going to find me? There's a million podcasters out there. There's a million podcasts. The imposter syndrome. Why me? I'm not good enough. All those things come up. And it's like, take an eraser, take that all out of your mind, quiet all that noise, and just do it, because you will never regret it. You won't. You won't regret it. Even if no one listens, which won't happen, you won't regret having your story. You won't regret doing this. You won't regret trying. You won't regret it. So my advice to anyone who wants to start a podcast is literally start today. Go plug in a mic. Go plug in your earphones. Go plug in whatever you have. You don't need expensive equipment. You don't need a studio. You need a closet. You need a laptop. You need a phone recording. You could voice note it, my dudes. You could literally... I listen to so many high-end podcasts that have shit audio, and it actually doesn't matter because they're just like, I'm releasing content. And that's the whole point of it. So don't let perfection stop you. Don't let imposter syndrome stop you. This has become a pep talk, but just go start, and start today. Like today, not tomorrow, today. Figure it out. Record your intro. Pick a name. Start an Instagram. Like, just take the first step, because you're the only one holding yourself back. You're the only one standing in your own way. And I stood in my own way for so long. I still stand in my own way for so many things. And it's just like, get out of your own way, Steph. Get out of your own way. Like, walk on by, you know? So, yeah, good question. Alrighty, let's jump to a spirit question quickly. How do you figure out why a spirit is attached to you? Good question. Number one, you could ask them. Number two, you could kind of piece together the clues, like when are they showing up? Why are they showing up? How often are they showing up? What are you doing when they're showing up? Are they around you during a difficult time, season, reason? What's going on in your life that you might need support? You almost need to become an investigator, right? It's like who, what, when, where, how, why, what's going on. So try asking them, because that's a really good piece of advice that I got. Ask spirit. You can ask them questions. That literally blew my mind. And then, yeah, do a little detective work, because there's probably a reason why they're around. Either something going on in your life, maybe an anniversary, maybe just to say hello, maybe to protect you, maybe to remind you, maybe to be with you. Like, it doesn't always have to be these big extravagant reasons of why spirit is around, but you're the only one who can figure out why. Usually. Maybe a really good medium could. Ooh, okay, this leads into this question. What is the best piece of advice you've been given that stuck with you the most? Oh, okay, can I say more than one? So, number one, I would say what I just said, you can talk back to spirit. When my mentor told me that, she was like, why don't you just ask them? I was like, huh? I was like, I thought this was like blind charades where they just talk to me and I have to figure it out. She's like, no, ask them. I was like, it blew my mind. I remember telling people, like, do you know you can talk back to ghosts? Like, do you know you can ask them questions? Everyone's like, what? I was like, yeah, interesting. So I was like, yeah, like I've had these 3 people following me around for 3 months. She's like, why don't you ask them who they belong to? I was like, what? She's like, yeah, ask them right now. And I just asked them and they told me. And I was like, huh. So that was literally life-changing advice. So if you haven't heard that advice, here's me telling you, you can talk back to spirit. Ask them questions. Who, what, when, where, how? Who are you for? What do you want? What's your message? How'd you die? What's your name? Ask them. They'll answer. You'll be surprised. And another thing that I wrote on a sticky note and put on my desk is done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. I wrote that on my desk when I was launching the podcast and when I was launching my website. And I'm going to stare at it right now as I launch merch, because, yeah, it's just so important. Done is better than perfect. You can come back and fix anything. And I think, what's that quote? Like, the first iPhone didn't even have a camera in it. Like, done is better than perfect. On that note, merch is live, my friends. Finally. I am a procrastinator, and I'm I should be more specific because I'm not a procrastinator. I'm a procrastinator at things I'm not good at, things I need to learn, or things that I find hard. And launching my merch store, I've been saying this for months that I was going to do it. I got the samples in months ago. And finally, I gave myself a deadline, which was episode 100, to get this out. So Medium in the Middle merch is live. I don't know why I didn't say this at the beginning of the episode, but you've listened this far. You're a middler. We have sweaters, hoodies, crews, crops, totes. There's a mug with my face on it. A few of you really, really wanted it. I was not going to do that, but it's a little bit hilarious, so it's there. And it's all available. Shipping is available everywhere. Yeah, it's amazing. So you can go on, you can pick your size, you can pick your color, you can do all these things. On Instagram, I'm going to have a big launch, so you'll see a bunch of the items and me wearing them. I just also ordered more of the items because obviously right before launch, I was like, oh, I should add this, and oh, I should add this. So there's a Midler sweater. There's like the crew that has the pattern all over in like multiple different colors because I just got carried away. So that's all up. The links will be down below in the show notes if you're interested in getting merch. I try to make it as affordable as possible. It's not like I'm making a ton of money off of this, but I think it's so cool. So thank you for supporting me. Thank you for wearing my merch. That's so amazing. I never ever thought I would have merch, but now I do. And it's wild. So it's going to be wild seeing other people wear Medium in the Middle merch. I think I might cry. Anyways, on that note, I'm doing a big giveaway on Instagram this week, and there will be a merch giveaway. I'm probably going to do a few giveaways just because it's episode 100. It's 100,000 downloads. We're launching merch. It's my birthday month. It's Libra season. It's all of the things. It's actually not my birthday month. I'm born in October. Duh, Steph. But it's close enough to my birthday month. So we're doing giveaways over at Medium in the Middle. So keep your eyes on my Instagram at Medium in the Middle. That's where all the announcements will be made, but links down below in the show notes for that. I'm excited. Can't wait to see you guys in your photos once you receive it. I will say, depending on where you live, it's a long delivery time, but it was the cheapest / best way that I could get you guys these things. So I was like, all right, we're waiting. Okay, next question. What is your daily routine or time for opening to spirit, yourself, and healing? Do you do this daily? Ooh, this is a tough question. So I would say my healing, like I always tell my Reiki students this, I work a lot. So when you give Reiki, you also receive Reiki. So I don't do a lot of self Reiki because I work so much on other clients. I know when I give Reiki, I too receive Reiki. So I get a lot of healing that way. But this might be unconventional, but my like talk to spirit, clear my mind, set up for the day is the gym. I go to CrossFit every day at noon, every single day at noon. And it is like my time, like nothing gets in the way of my time. And that's like my sanity. That's my time off. That's my meditation time. And it's really, really important for me to be able to work and open up. I feel like if I miss the gym, it messes with my work. So I don't do anything specific for spirit, which is interesting. Even so at the Banff Wellness Retreats, I'm doing group readings. That's kind of the only way you can get mediumship from me, is if you're a lucky few people to be at that retreat. Of course, podcast episode to come. But before I do like those group readings, I set intentions. I tell spirit exactly how I want them to come in. It's almost like listing rules. I say my boundaries. I say what I want. So for my regular, like everyday clients, it's usually like, no spirit, no messages. The line is cut. We are off. It's just like boundaries. And it's almost like mantras or things that you can say to yourselves. But it's very clear, like, I am working. I'm doing Reiki, not mediumship. You're not welcome here. But then when I'm doing mediumship, it's like, all right, y'all, show up. Be clear. Be specific. Tell me who you are, or I'm not giving the message. I'm cut and dry when it comes to that stuff. So yeah, I don't actually have much to offer in terms of routine. And this kind of leads into the next question of like, how do I plan my day? sleep times, wake up times, gym work. And I'll say this. I just did human design, so I'm a creature of habit. I have 3 things that I do not let fail. And those 3 things are gym, food, sleep. I minimize anything that affects gym, food, sleep. And that could be like, I will do nothing at noon. Nothing. It's your birthday brunch. Can't go. I'm going to the gym. Like, I don't care what is happening at noon. I am at the gym. So that's like hard boundary. Sleep. I'm very, very selective of things I will lose sleep for. And it's like, is it worth it to be tired? Is it worth it to, lose my sleep? I love 10 to 12 hours of sleep. Love. Like 8 hours to me is like a minimum requirement, like absolute minimum. 9 hours is a minimum requirement. And then food, like I need to eat properly. I'm gluten-free, dairy-free, so it's not like I can run out and grab food. I constantly need to make sure that I am like fed. And I think that those 3 things, I just learned in my human design that this is like, I'm a creature of habit. Like she was even like, I bet you eat the same things every day. And I was like, yeah, I do. It's like a joke with me and my grandma. I always call her when I'm making breakfast after the gym. She's like, what are you making? I'm like, eggs and potatoes. She's like, why are you always eating eggs and potatoes? And I was like, I don't know, I just like it. Like, it's just a staple. I protect those 3 things. I like to say like law, because that's the easiest way to describe it. And I was talking to a friend about this yesterday. I was like, that's how I can work so much. That's how I have balance without balance. It's just like, if I miss the gym, I am thrown off for the entire day. If my sleep is off, I'm wrecked. I'm ruined. But if those 3 things are all in alignment and I do a lot to protect those 3 things, I'm groovy. I'm good to go. But if you're interested, a normal day looks like for me, this is probably going to be not very exciting. I wake up around, I don't set an alarm anymore because Archie is pretty consistent about when he wakes up for a pee. So between like 8:11 and 8:23, he wakes up for a pee. So I take him outside and then I come back in and I lay down and I wait for it to be 9 o'clock. Then I drink a pot of coffee and I sit down on my computer and I do emails and Instagrams and DMs and prep time, plan time, whatever I need to do. And I do that until like 11:48. And then at 11:48, I run around like a crazy person for 7 minutes and I brush my teeth, put on my gym clothes and run to the gym. Then I'm at the gym noon to 1 and then I walk home and my clients start at 1:30. So between 1:30 and 6 is usually like clients, and I'll eat in there as well on a break, and I'll shower in there on a break. And then after my clients are done, I usually take Archie for another walk, and then I make dinner. So that brings me to like 7:30 or 8. And then I'll sit back down on the computer and do more things that I need to do. And then around 9:30, I'll kind of just chill. I think I've said this before, but I don't have a Netflix account. I don't have a TV. I don't have anything. And now that I have a dog, I'm on my phone a lot less, which I really, really enjoy. Something that I heard in university was someone said, if you feel like you don't have time for anything, stop watching TV. And it like stuck in my mind because this was back in the day when like Wednesday night was Gilmore Girls and Thursday night was, I can't even remember all the shows, but like it was like certain nights, it was like 8 o'clock, Wednesday, everyone's coming over, and like whatever, Thursday we had to be in the TV by 7 o'clock. And like when you stop watching TV, you will be so surprised how many hours you get back. I'm also very lucky that I live in Banff and I can walk everywhere. So I can be to the gym in like 4 minutes. I can be home in 4 minutes. When I work in person, I just run over to the office. So that's kind of my everyday. On weekends, I teach Reiki, and Mondays are my days off, quote unquote. I like to have half a day off and half a day is admin day. But I know I need to work towards 1 full day off and 1 admin day. That's like goals, but I just like working and it lights me up and it fires me up. Also learned that in my human design, that because I enjoy working, I can just keep going. So you don't feel like you need to rest. But that's my schedule. Okay, and then the last question that I'll answer today sorry I couldn't get to all of your questions, is what is my favorite podcast episode out of 100 episodes? And I don't even know if I can answer this question. I feel like each episode was such like an integral part of my journey and my life, and they're all so meaningful. It's hard to pick a favorite. I really love the Q&A episodes. They're always like fun. Obviously Josh was a really, really hard hitter. We've already talked about that. Episodes, I think it's 17, Reiki 101. I really, really like that episode. I feel like I still refer back to that episode. Oh, it's so hard. The Evil Eye episode was a good episode. A lot of people like that one. Any one that I do with Court Burns is always fun. When my grandma came on the podcast, that was really fun. She's so cute. She tried to say hi, how are you, and asked you guys how the weather was, and I had to explain to her that you can't answer. I don't know if I could pick a favorite. I feel like the episodes have been such a journey, and it's like a piece of time. So thank you for being here for 100 episodes. Thank you for submitting your questions. Thank you for everything. It's just, I'm filled of so much gratitude, and I'm filled with so much, I feel very empowered. I feel like is a good way to describe it. Like I feel strong. I feel mighty. I feel I did it. I did it. I launched a podcast. I podcast every single Tuesday, nearly, for 2 years. I am at episode 100. There's a lot of like pride and gratitude and awe, and just I'm sitting in a lot of emotions, and it's really nice. And I feel like when we are busy and life's happening and things are going, we need to remember to sit in these emotions. We need to remember to like live these moments and like be present and enjoy and not be racing forward. So that's where I'm sitting now, in my medium in the middle sweatshirt, talking to you, the Midler gang, on the podcast for the 100th time. Cheers to like 100 more, 100 more after that, and sponsorships and 60K months one day. You gotta dream big, folks. If your dreams don't scare the shit out of you, they're not big enough. That's what Lululemon told me. They said, your dreams should be so scary, it should be like feel weird to say them, like it should be scary to say them. So I say my dreams to myself a lot, because I was like, this needs to be not scary. This needs to be attainable. This needs to be not scary. This needs to be attainable. And I encourage you to do the same. So I'm going to leave it on that note. Thank you for listening again. If you are an iTunes user, I would love and appreciate a rating and a review. Thank you to everyone who's left a rating and a review. You are incredible. You're an incredible human being if you're listening to this podcast. I can almost guarantee that. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. My name is Stephanie. I am the medium in the middle. All the links that you need will be down below in the show notes. If you want to book an appointment with me, Distance Reiki, Psych K, Akashic Records, that will be all down below in the show notes. If you're in Banff, come see me in person. You can book an in-person Reiki session. I also do Psych K in person. So you can come to town for that. And for the 100th time, I will see you all next Tuesday in your ears. Thank you for listening, Midlers. Bye, guys. Have a great week.